everyone, I'm Malvika John and welcome back to ProFX. So I need you to be honest with me for a second. When I say the word amplifier, what are you picturing? Something big, heavy, a little intimidating? Something that looks like it should come with instructions and a warning not to touch anything? Yeah, well, the same. Because for the longest time, that's what an amplifier meant. A serious box, a lot of weight, a lot of metal, and a lot of buttons. And the feeling that you probably shouldn't touch anything unless you really know what you're doing. Now look at this. This is an amplifier. And yes, this is the whole thing. Not the small version, not an accessory, not a DAC. This is the actual amplifier. And look at this in my hand. This feels like something that should control your Wi-Fi, not your speakers. And the first time I saw it, I genuinely thought this was just part of the setup. Like, okay, nice little controller, and where's the actual amp? I even checked the box again because I thought something was missing. But no, this is the real thing. This is Fosi audio, and they're officially arriving in India with ProFX. And the idea here is simple, but actually kind of brilliant. What if getting into great sound did not feel like a full-blown commitment? Because let's be honest, a lot of audio gear feels like a commitment. Not just financially, but visually, spatially, mentally. You don't just place it somewhere. You decide where it's going to live, you clear space for it, you plan your setup around it, and sometimes you even redesign your table or console because of it. With something like this, you just put it down and you're done. No rack, no rearranging the whole room, no feeling like you need a dedicated corner before you even start. And that shift sounds small, but it really isn't. Because the first thing that changes is how you approach it. You don't overthink it. You don't stand there trying to figure it out before you even use it. And you don't feel like you need a manual before turning it on. You just connect it and start listening. And that's rare in this space. Also, can we talk about how this looks? Because this is not trying to disappear into the background. That black finish keeps it clean and refined. But that burnt orange that you see here, that's personality. It's just bold enough to stand out without trying too hard. Minimal but not boring. Modern but not flashy. And when you put a couple of these together, this doesn't look like clutter. It actually looks intentional. Almost like you styled your setup, not just assembled it, which honestly is not something we usually say about amplifiers. Most of the time, the amplifier is the part that you actually hide. Here, it's the part you don't mind showing. And that changes the whole vibe of the setup. But here's where it gets more interesting. This isn't just about making something smaller. There's actually some clever engineering behind why these can be this size. Most of these use modern Class D amplifier designs, which means they can deliver serious power without needing the huge transformers and heavy chassis we're used to seeing in traditional amps. So you still get proper amplification, you still get clean power, you still get control over your speakers, just without the size and heat of old school designs. And that's the part that surprised me the most. Because once you hear it working, your brain still expects a bigger box somewhere in the chain. But there isn't one. This is where it stops being surprising and starts being clever. Because Fosi isn't just making one product. Within the same compact format, they're giving you different ways to experience sound. Different power levels, different inputs, different use cases. Desktop setups, small room setups, simple stereo systems, and even tube-based designs in something this size. Now, even if you're not deeply into audio, you've probably heard people talk about tube sound. Warmer, smoother, more relaxed, a little more natural. So traditionally, that kind of sound came with a certain presence. Big chassis, visible tubes, something that looked like it belonged in a studio. Here, it looks like it belongs on your desk, which is slightly ridiculous in the best way possible, because now you're getting character without the intimidation. You're getting personality without needing a full hi-fi rack. And that's really the theme across everything here. It's not about removing depth. It's not about oversimplifying. It's about removing the friction. You still get to experiment. You still get to try different speakers. You still get to build your setup slowly. You still get to figure out what sound you like. It just doesn't feel like something you have to prepare yourself for. And that changes how often you actually use it. When something is easy to live with, you listen more. You try more music, you notice more details, you spend more time with your setup, instead of just looking at it. And that is where the real experience builds. There's also a very practical side to this. This kind of form factor makes placement easy. It doesn't take over your desk, it doesn't take over your console, it doesn't take over your room. Instead, it adapts. You can start simple and then add more later. Change speakers later, try something new later. Keep it minimal or build it up slowly, and it still feels clean. It still feels modern, and it still feels intentional. And I think that's why this launch makes a lot of sense. With ProFX bringing Fosi audio to India, this introduces a very different kind of option. Not instead of traditional hi-fi, not competing with everything else, and not replacing big amplifiers. Just alongside them. A more flexible way to experience better sound, a more approachable way to start, a less intimidating way to build a system, and honestly, a more fun way to do it. Because there's something very satisfying about this. Seeing something this small do something you did not expect it to, it changes that mental image you had and replaces it with something more modern, more practical, and a lot more easier to live with. And before we wrap up, there's one more thing that makes this launch interesting. This isn't just about a new product. This is also about a new partnership. Fosi Audio is now officially in India with ProFX. And if you followed the audio space for a while, you know ProFX has always focused on bringing in brands that do something different. Whether that's in professional audio, home audio, or personal listening. Fosi fits right into that idea. Because Fosi as a brand actually started with a very simple goal: to make good quality amplification more accessible. Not cheaper just for the sake of it, not complicated just for the sake of looking serious. Accessible in size, accessible in price, and accessible in the way people actually use audio today. They became popular globally through compact amps, desktop setups, and small hi-fi systems that did not need a full rack to work. And over time, they built a reputation for making products that are small, powerful, and surprisingly well built for their size. So this partnership makes sense. With ProFX bringing Fosi Audio to India, it opens the door for a different kind of hi-fi experience. Something that sits between entry-level and serious audio gear. Something that's easy to start with, but still interesting enough to grow with. And honestly, that's a space a lot of people are looking for right now. Not everyone wants a full rack. Not everyone has space for big equipment. But a lot of people still want good sound. And this is exactly where something like this fits. So if you've got any questions about anything that we discussed today, please do not hesitate to drop a question in the comment box. And if you would like to visit our product range, please do visit our website www.profx.com. And so that's about it. And until next video, happy listening.